Good morning, everyone. So from today onwards, we are going to start our project development. So as you people are going to attend the interview with the experience, you people need to keep one project in the resume. So that is our major project in the JRTP course. So same project you can keep in the resume to attend the interview. So long back, we already discussed what is this project, who is client, and what is the purpose of this project, and what are the modules available, and what is the purpose of each module. So quickly, let me revise what we discussed about the project so that we can think of the development plan for this project. So the project that we are discussing is related to Rhode Island state government in the US. We are calling this project as IES. IES stands for Integrated Eligibility System. This project is used to provide fully integrated eligibility system for Rhode Island state citizens. As we discussed, in the Rhode Island state government, they are providing some health and insurance plans for the citizens who are needy. So government is supporting for the people who are having less income and no resources to lead their daily lives. So that's where IES application comes into picture. By using this IES application, government is providing health and insurance plans for Rhode Island state citizens. So by using this IES application, government is providing several health and insurance plans for the citizens. So for every plan, some conditions will be available. If the citizen data is matching with those conditions, then they will be eligible for that plan. Otherwise, they will be denied for that plan. So in this application, there are several plans available like a SNAP, CCAP, Medicaid, Medicare, QHP, and RIW. SNAP stands for Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. This is applicable for the people who are having less income and no resources, or less resources basically. So the family which is having the less income can apply for the SNAP plan. If their data is matching with the SNAP conditions, then that family will get some benefit amount from the government on monthly basis. Similarly, we have another plan called CCAP, Child Care Assistance Program. This is applicable for the families who are having kids with less income. Family is not able to provide the proper education, proper food for the children, then government will provide some benefit amount for them for their daily life. Okay. Next one, Medicaid and Medicare plans are available. These are related to health plans. Any family which is having less income and less resources, who are not able to pay the medical bills for their health conditions, then government is providing some benefit amount for such kind of families through Medicaid and Medicare plan. This Medicaid plan is applicable for the people who are having no income and no resources. Medicaid plan is applicable is for the people who are senior citizens. Any senior citizen who want to get the benefit from the government for their medical bills, then they can apply for Medicare. Age condition is very important when they are going for the Medicare plan. Then coming to QHP, that is Qualified Health Plan. It will provide some discount in the medical bills when you enroll for this QHP plan, but this is a commercial plan. So if you need to purchase this QHP plan in order to get the benefit from the QHP, the discount off will be available in the bill. Suppose if you get $100 bill, then 20% discount will be there if you are belong to this QHP plan. So similarly, there is a plan called RIW. RIW stands for Rhode Island Works. This is applicable for the citizens who are unemployed. They are graduated, but they don't have any job. For such kind of citizens, government is providing this RIW plan. Government will provide some benefit amount on monthly basis to upgrade their skill set. So this is all about our major project, which is IES. The client of this project is Rhode Island state government. Good. Next one, how people will use this application, how people will apply for the plans. As we discussed, this IES application is an intranet application. Public users cannot access this application directly in the internet. This application is intranet application. This application we can access only in the DHS offices, nothing but Department of Health Services. How we have Aadhaar centers in every city, in every area. Similarly, in the Rhode Island state, DHS offices will be available. In the DHS offices, we can access this IES application. So the employees will be there in the DHS offices to access our IES application. They are called as caseworkers. Caseworker is a government employee working in the DHS department. Those caseworkers will have the access for IES application. A citizen who want to apply for the plan, that citizen should visit the nearest DHS office to apply for the plan. Citizen should talk to the caseworker to apply for a plan. Suppose if I want to apply for RIW, I can't apply directly in the internet. I should visit the nearest DHS office and I should talk to the caseworker in order to apply for the plan. So citizen will talk to the caseworker in the DHS office to apply for the plan. Then that caseworker will access IES, will try to apply the plan for citizen based on the information given by the citizen. If citizen information is a matching with the plan condition, then citizen will be approved for the plan. Otherwise, citizen will be denied for the plan. Approved citizens will get the benefit amount from the government. Denied people will not get anything. So this is all about our project. So in this project, we are having several modules, guys. So one is admin module. Second one, application registration module. Third one, data collection module. Fourth one, eligibility determination module. Fifth one, correspondence. Sixth one, benefit issuance module. Seventh one, reports module. So like this, there are several modules available in our application. So every module functionality we are going to develop as one REST API. So I'm not going to develop a monolith application, guys. I'm going to develop a microservice based application. We already know what is microservice. Microservice nothing but developing the functionality as independently deployable services. I should be able to deploy admin application as one separate project. Similarly, AR API, DC API, ED API, CO API, BI API, reports API. All these APIs we should be able to deploy independently. So here we have several modules in our application. What is admin module? In our application, admin module is mainly responsible to create accounts for the caseworker to access IES system. Our application will have one super admin. The super admin will log in into our application. He will create the account for the caseworkers to access IES. And admin will manage caseworker accounts and admin will manage plans in our application. Caseworker accounts management and plans management will be available. And along with that, we are developing login functionality, dashboard functionality, edit profile functionality, and forgot password functionality in the same application. Earlier, we thought of creating a separate API, but I'm combining that admin functionality and login functionality in the same API. In the admin module, we are having caseworker accounts management, plans management will be available, login functionality, dashboard functionality, editing the profile, forget the password. These functionalities we are going to provide in the admin module. Then after admin module is completed, then AR module will be available, which contains application registration. When citizen want to apply for the plan, then we need to go for application registration process. Okay. Application registration process means here caseworker will collect the citizen data and will try to create the application. Here, to create the application for the citizen identity is very important. If that citizen belongs to Rhode Island state, then only his application will be created. Otherwise, his application will not be created. Right. It is going to communicate with one third-party API that is called SSA Web API. We will send SSN number to the third-party API that will return state name. If the citizen belongs to RI state, then only his application will be created. Otherwise, his application will not be created because only RI state citizens are eligible to apply for the plans in our IES application. So once application is registered, for that citizen, one case number will be generated. The case number is very important. If the case number is generated for the citizen, that means he can apply for the plans in the IES. He is Rhode Island state citizen, he can apply for the plans. That application registration process will be available in our AR module. The next one, DC module. So here, whenever citizen belongs to RI state, he is he can apply for the plan. So which plan he want to apply? Plan selection, right? What is the plan he want to apply? There are several plans given by the government. Does he want to apply SNAP, CCAP, Medicaid, Medicare, QHP, RIW? What is the plan that you want to apply? So we are going to take that citizen information basically in the DC module, and it is going to insert the data into tables. Here we are going to collect citizen data, citizen family data, education data, employment data, income data, kids data. Like this, we are going to collect the information from the citizen and will store in the database, which is required to verify whether the citizen is eligible for the plan or not. So DC module will contain only the screens to collect the data from the citizen and store that data into database table. Once the data collection is completed, we need to determine whether that citizen is eligible for the plan or not. To determine the citizen eligibility, there is a module called ED. ED stands for eligibility determination. It is responsible to verify citizen eligibility for the plan. So it will execute plan conditions with the citizen data. For every plan, government provided some condition. The citizen who applies for this plan should match with this condition. If this condition satisfied, then only he will get the benefit amount. Otherwise, he will not get the benefit amount. Right. So the eligibility determination will be done through ED module in our project. So ED module will decide the citizen is eligible or, approved or denied based on the rules and the citizen data. For approved citizens, benefit amount will be available. For denied citizens, nothing will be available. Regarding their eligibility, whether they are approved or denied, they will get a notice from our application. That's where correspondence module will be available in the project. CO. CO stands for correspondence, right? So this is responsible to send notices to citizens regarding their plan eligibility. If you are approved for the plan, you will get the approved notice. If you are denied for the plan, you will get the denied notice. Notice is nothing but basically a PDF. That PDF will go to the citizen email. PDF will go to citizen email. Approved notice will be available. Denied notice will be available. Termination notice will be available. Plan renewal reminder notice will be available. If any document is missed, missing documents notices also will be available for the citizens. So in the correspondence module, we are going to implement the logic to send notices to the citizens regarding their eligibility, regarding their termination, regarding plan renewal, regarding missing documents. That is the purpose of correspondence module. CO stands for correspondence. It is responsible to send notices to citizens regarding their plan eligibility. The next one is BI module, nothing but benefit issuance. It is responsible to send benefit amount to approved citizens. BI module stands for benefit issuance. It is responsible to send benefit amount to approved citizens. Then coming to the last one, reports module. Okay, so reports module is used to generate the reports in the Excel format or PDF format. We already developed this reports module as one mini project. How many people applied for the plans? For which plan? How many people applied? Based on the status, I want to download the data. Based on the plan, I want to download the data. Based on the duration, I want to download the data. So we want to get the analytics of our project by using the reports, right? For that reports module is available. So with this, we understood what is the purpose of IES, what is IES, why IES is required, who is client for IES, how to access IES app in the real time, what are the plans available and what are the conditions for that, what are the modules available in the IES application, and purpose of each module in the IES application. So when anybody asks you, explain about your project in the interview, you need to tell these 7 points. IES, why IES? What is IES? IES is health and insurance application for the Rhode Island state. It is used to provide fully integrated health system for the RI state citizens. We developed this project for RI state government. So this application is intranet application. Only case workers can access. Case workers are nothing but the employees in the DHS department. In this application, there are several plans available like SNAP, CCAP, Medicaid, Medicare, QHP, RIW. And in this application, there are several modules available like admin module, AR module, DC, ED, CO, BI, reports like this. And admin module will deal with accounts creation and plans management. And AR module will deal with the citizen application creation. If citizen is belongs to RI state, then only application will be created. Otherwise, application will not be created. To verify citizen is belongs to RI state or not, AR module will communicate with a federal government project which is called SSA web application. Once application got created, we need to collect the citizen data. For that, data collection module is available. Which plan he want to apply, what data we need to determine the eligibility. Once data collection completed, we are going to determine citizen eligibility for the plan. So if the citizen data matching with the plan conditions, he will be approved for the plan. Otherwise, he will be denied for the plan. Once eligibility is determined, citizen will get a notice from our application regarding their eligibility status, whether they are approved for the plan or denied for the plan. Okay, so correspondence module is responsible to send notices to the citizens. And next one, BI project is BI module is available, benefit issuance. It will collect approved citizens data and it will store in the FTP location for amount transfer. Third party application will take that FTP location file and will do the benefits transfer on monthly basis. The next one, reports module is available. It will generate the reports of our application like citizens approved citizens data, denied citizens data, gender wise report, date wise report, status wise report, name wise report, duration wise report. You can generate them in the Excel format as well as in the PDF format. This is about our application. So do you guys remember? I have given the mock-up screens also for this application. So I thought that you people will develop this application by seeing the mock-up screens we have. So these are the mock-up screens we have for our application. Okay. So the first one is admin module, and we need to create accounts. We need to display the accounts we have. We need to create the plan, and we need to view the plans that are available in our application. In order to communicate with the third-party API, we can't access the real SSA web application. So because that is a federal government project in the US. In order to complete our development, we are going to use one mock URL. So I created one dummy service for the SSA web. So by using this URL, we can access third-party web API. If you send SSN number for this API will give you state name. If the state name is RI, then you can create the application. If the state name is not RI, then you no need to create the application. For our project dummy screens, to understand the functionality, I have given mock screens. And for third-party communication, I have given SSA web API. And we have done DB analysis also for our application. So in order to work with admin API to create the user accounts, what is the table that we are going to use, and user roles table, and plans, what plans that we need for our application, plans table, and to store IES applications, that means citizen applications, we have created one tabs table. And so plan selection, which plan the citizen is applying, that plans data should be stored into the plan selection table. Income table is available, children table is available, education table is available, eligibility details table is available, and correspondence notices table is available. Benefit issuance details also available in our application. These are the tables that we have identified in our project. Okay. So for admin API, what is the table we need? For admin API, what is the table we need? So instead of giving the tables at the API level, for our whole application, DB design we have already done. Okay. Database design we have already completed. What tables we need for our application development? So as we discussed here, admin is going to create the accounts for the users. To store user account details, we are taking one table called IES users table. User account are nothing but I can say IES user login details. Which user can log in? Case workers can log in into our application. IES users table is available. It is used to store IES app user account details. IES application user accounts. Who can log in into our application, that we can define by using this IES users table. The next one, IES user roles table. So which user, which role is available. Instead of taking a separate table for the roles, you can keep the role directly in the same table, whether that person is a case worker or whether that person is a admin. So in our application, mainly two types of users are available. One is administrator, second one is caseworker. Administrator will have the functionality to add the caseworker and having the functionality to manage the plans. Whereas when it go to caseworker, caseworker can apply only for the plans in our system. Okay, caseworker will have the functionality to add the plan. So if you take a separate table for the roles, that is fine. One to many, one role can be applied for multiple users. Multiple admins can be available and multiple case workers can be available. Instead of that, so as we are having only two roles in the application, if you directly take the role ID at the time of creating the user, if it is a case worker user, you can give the role ID as 1. If it is administrator, you can give the role ID as 2. Like this also, you can manage roles. So the thing is, in our table, we should be able to understand which account belongs to which user, whether it is a caseworker account or whether it is a admin account. Why? Because when caseworker login, admin menu should not be displayed. When admin login, admin menu should be displayed. So which user is trying to log in into our application, we should be able to identify that. For that, we can keep role ID. For that, we can keep role ID. If it is a caseworker account, one role. If it is an admin account, we can keep another role. So for example, if I take one as admin and two as caseworker, then problem will be solved. So if the role ID is 1, we need to consider that person as a admin in our application. If role ID is 2, we need to consider that person as a caseworker. For that, we need to give a small one more drop down here, role drop down. So whenever we are creating the account, is that a caseworker account or is that a admin account, that we need to define here. So if it is a caseworker, role ID will be 2 in the table. If it is an admin account, role ID will be 1 in the table. So like this, you can maintain user details in one table. Okay. So default switch will be Y. By default, that account will be in the locked status. We have implemented already how to unlock that account in our mini projects. So default switch will be account will be active, account status will be locked. Whenever we create the account, when we create the account, they will get a mail to unlock the account. They need to change their password. They will get a temporary password. Once they change the temporary password, then their account will be unlocked. Only unlocked users can log in into our application. So with this, admin user accounts creation will be complete. Then similarly, plans are required. So here in the admin, we have an option called create plans. View plans option is available. Create plans means what plans we are supporting in our application. That plans information we need to store here. It is used to store plans of the IES application. Admin will create the plans, plan ID, plan name, start date, end date. What is the category of the plan? Default active switch will be Y for that plan. Okay. So here, who created that plan? When that plan is updated, what is the create date? What is the update date? Who created that? Who updated that? That information we will maintain in the plan table. So here, IES users table and IES plans table will be available. IES user table will contain the accounts that are created by administrator. Okay. And IES plans will be available. So which plans we are supporting by our IES application to the citizens, that plans information will be stored in our table. Good. Here, plans can be edited by the admin. They can activate the plan. They can deactivate the plan. So that plan management can be done in our admin login. Admin will have access for create account, view account, create plan, view plan will be available for the administrator. The next one, going to gaps table. Once account is created, caseworker will unlock the account. Caseworker will log in into the application. Once the caseworker logged in into the application, caseworker can go for application registration. Caseworker can go for application registration. So here, caseworker can create the application for the citizen. So here, when we are creating the application for the citizen, that the citizen will be verified with his SSN number. We are capturing citizen SSN number from the screen. This SSN we will give to SSA Web API. If that citizen belongs to Rhode Island state, then for that citizen, application will be created, case number will be generated. If a case number is generated, that means that citizen can apply for the plan in our IAS. He is Rhode Island state citizen. He can apply for the plan in the IAS. If citizen is not belongs to Rhode Island state, we don't create the application because we don't provide the benefit amount for that citizen because he is not belongs to that state. IAS is only applicable for Rhode Island state citizens, not for other state citizens. Not for other state citizens. It is applicable only for the Rhode Island state citizens. Are you guys clear with my point? Are you guys clear with my point? Good. So citizen application will be created. When the application is created, case number will be generated. Then once the citizen application got created, then if you go for data collection. So first, which plan citizen want to apply? The plan names should come here in the drop down. So plan names, what plans we created by admin account, the plans available in the table, the plan name should come to our drop down. Snap, CCAP, whatever the plans are there. In the create plan screen, plans will be created. The plan selection will be available. So the citizen is applying for which plan? The citizen is applying for which plan? That plan selection we have to store in the database table to understand citizen applied for which plan. Here case number is already created. So here the case number will be available as a foreign. Plan selection ID will be primary key. Case number will be available as a foreign key and plan ID will be available. Which plan that citizen is applying. Okay. This plan ID is also a foreign key. In the plan table, plan ID will be available. That plan ID we will store in the plan selection table. Using plan selection table, we can understand citizen applied for which plan. He applied for SNAP or he applied for CCAP or Medicaid or Medicare. That information will be available in the DC plan selection table. So once the plan selection table data is stored, then we will collect income data from the citizen. To store the income data, we will have income table. Similarly, we are going to collect education data. To store that education data, we have DC education table. To store the education data, we are having DC education table. Similarly, we are going to collect children data. To store the children's information, kids information, there is a table called DC children table is available to store the children data. Okay. The next one is eligibility details table is available. So which is used to determine the eligibility. Once all this citizen data is stored into the database table, we will go for eligibility determination. Based on the case number, we need to determine the eligibility. So whenever you click on this determine eligibility, it will take plan information, which plan citizen applied. For that plan, some conditions will be available. It is going to execute all those conditions and it is going to tell you what is the status of the plan. Whether that person is approved for the plan or denied for that plan, that information will be available. If the person is approved, then he will have start date, end date, benefit amount for the plan. If the person is denied, then he will get the denial reason. Why that person is denied, we will get it by using denial reason. So once eligibility determination completed, that information will be stored in the determine eligibility. Information will be stored into eligibility details table. Once eligibility determination completed, then we are having notice generation. So once the eligibility is determined, then generate correspondence option will be available for that. Whenever you click on generate correspondence, one notice will be generated for that person. One notice will be generated for that person. By default, the notice will be available in the pending status. Pending, nothing but it is not printed. So once the notice generation completed, then it will go for history. Notice is complete. CO PDF, that PDF we are going to store into AWS cloud. Here CO PDF, we are going to have only the URL. We have already discussed about AWS S3 bucket. AWS S3 is a cloud storage in the AWS that is used to store unlimited data. So when the notice got generated, that notice should be stored into AWS S3 bucket, and that notice URL will be available. Object will be stored. Object nothing but one file. In the AWS S3 bucket, we are going to store the object. That object via URL, we are going to store in the COPDF URL. We are going to store into our database table. Here, notice the status will be pending or history. Pending means it is still not printed. History means notice is already printed. Like this correspondence table will be available, which will maintain citizen notices data. Then similarly, BI info table will be available. It will maintain citizen benefit status. That means this month, for how many citizens we have sent the benefit amount, how much benefit amount we have sent for this month. That information we are going to maintain in the BI table. It will take approved citizens data for which citizens we have sent the benefit amount. That information will be maintained in the benefit info table. That information we will maintain in the benefit info table. So this is our database design for the project. So here we can see users table 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So total 10 tables we are going to create in our application. So in order to develop this IES application, we are going to get 10 tables here. So these are 10 tables design we have to do. We need to prepare proper DB design. We need to create entity classes and we need to create repository interfaces. We need to create entity classes and we need to create repository interfaces for our application. So first we need to complete our DB design. So from the day one onwards in the JRTP, so when we are starting the project's development, so the best practice, always do the DB design first. So identify what tables are required, what columns are required, what relationships are required for the tables. Once the DB design is completed, then we need to go for components analysis. What classes we need to create. Only with entities and repositories, we cannot develop our project. Only with entities and repositories, we cannot develop our project. We need to create some binding classes, controllers, services we need to create in our application. So we need to start with DB design. First, we need to create entity classes and repository interfaces. Okay. So coming to development process. Development procedure basically. As we are going to start the development, what procedure we are going to follow in order to develop. Okay. So first one, DB design. We have already completed the DB design long back. So when I gave you the assignment to develop this major project, at that time only, I have given the mock-up screens, third-party API URL, and I have given DB design also. So the first step is DB design, nothing but table creation, schema creation. So what tables we need for our application, what columns we need for our application, that the DB design we have to do. Okay, schema creation we have done for that. Once that schema creation is generated, DB design is completed, then we need to go for components analysis. That means what classes are required for our application. Once the DB design is completed, then create entity classes and repository interfaces. What entities? For every table, one entity class is required. There are 10 tables available in our project. So we are going to create 10 entity classes. For these 10 entities, 10 repository interfaces are required. 10 entity classes we are going to create. For these 10 entity classes, 10 repository interfaces are required. So once these entities and repositories are ready, while creating the entities, you need to be very careful because all the tables are not independent. There is a relationship. One table is having relationship with other table. When you are creating these entity classes, you should be very careful to establish the relationships. Okay. So once that is completed, then we are going to identify, create binding classes. Create binding classes to deal with the request and the response. What are the binding classes we need to deal with the request and response? We are going to create binding classes in order to deal with the request and response. So the request will come from the front-end application. To capture that request data, we need some request binding classes, and we need to send some response to the UI to send the response from the backend application to the front-end application. Response binding classes are required. Request binding classes are required. Response binding classes are required. Then after create constants, and properties classes. This is a best practice. We should not use any hard-coded values. Any string literals we should not hard code. We have already done the code review and we identified several issues in the code review. Any string literal that you hard code will identify as a sonar issue. And we should not hard code the properties in our application, any messages. So the properties we need to read from the YML. Okay, create the constants and create the property classes that are required for our application. Then finally, we are going for create service, interface, and IMPL class. Okay, so for service and IMPL classes, we are going to create. Basically, these are called as business classes, or we can call them as helper classes. So whatever the business logic we need to do in our project, that business logic implementation we can do by using these service classes. Once it is completed, then we are going to create controllers. Create REST controller, as we are going to develop it as a REST API. Create REST controller class to handle request and response. Create REST controller to handle the request and response. Okay, guys. Do the DB design, that is schema creation, table creations. Then for the tables, what are the entities and repositories are required? We are going to create them. Then binding classes we are going to create to deal with the request and response. Create constants and properties classes. Constants and properties are best practices to avoid hard-coded data in our classes. Business layer will be available to develop business logic. Service class, service interface, service classes we are going to create, and create REST controllers to handle the request and response. So once it is completed, then we are going to implement exception handling. Implement exception handling in our application. Implement logging in the application. Implement exception handling. For every API, we need to handle the exceptions, because today our code is working as expected, but tomorrow there is a chance of getting some problem. So we need to implement exception handling in the application, and we need to implement logging in the application. So exception handling to handle unexpected, unwanted situations in our project. So we need to implement a global exception handling concept in the project. Whenever some exception occurred, we should be able to send meaningful message to the client application. Okay, implement logging. So tomorrow, if any problem occurs in the application, we should be able to understand root cause of the problem. For that, we are going to implement logging. We are going to implement logging in our application. Then test API functionality using Postman or Swagger. Test the API functionality using Postman or Swagger. So whatever the coding we are doing, this is a backend API coding. So whatever the coding we are doing, whether that code is working as expected or not, we need to test it by using Postman or Swagger. Clear? So these steps we need to follow for every API that we have in our project. All the backend APIs we need to develop. Okay. Now tell me, guys, which APIs you want me to develop, which APIs you guys will develop. Which APIs you want me to develop in the major project, which APIs you guys will develop. So for any API development, this is the standard procedure that we need to follow. This is the standard procedure that we need to follow to develop these APIs. We need to follow a standard procedure to develop these APIs. Develop all APIs, huh? If I develop all the APIs, then what you will try? We are at the end of the course. In 10 days, our batch will be completed. Many people asking to develop all the APIs in the class. They don't want to try anything on their own. Okay, I don't have any problem, guys. Fine, I will do that. No issue. Okay, so you understand what is the development procedure that we need to follow? Guys, you understand what is the development procedure that we need to follow? Are you guys clear with this? Yeah, perfect. So we understood that what is our project, what is the purpose of the project, what services providing by our project, how to access this project, what are the modules available in the project, and what is the purpose of each module in the project. Okay, and next one, what are the screens that we have in the project? Mockup screens I have given. Third-party URLs that we want to use, I have given that URL. I think this URL is not working now. I will take that new URL for that. And in order to develop this application, what are the tables that are required? Those tables we have to design for our application. The table structure also I have given for you people. Okay. Now here, what is the procedure we need to follow in order to develop our application? So in the same order, we are going to develop our APIs in the project. So it's not a big deal to develop these APIs because already we understood how to analyze the requirement, how to analyze the tables, DB design, analyze the classes, analyzing the methods, writing the logic for that we are going to implement here. Got it. Now, as I have given the DB design, today I want you people to create one dummy project. In that dummy project, create the entities for all these tables and repositories for these tables, right? So I want you people to create the entity classes for all the table structure that I have given. So there are 10 tables available. For all these 10 tables, I want you people to create the entity classes and repository interfaces. So today I will also come up with these entity classes and repository interfaces. So tomorrow you can compare whatever the entities you have created, whatever the entities I have created. Is there any mismatch? Guys, this is the last chance for you to do the analysis and improving your skills. Okay. So today you spend 2 hours of time. It will take 2 hours of time to create these entity classes and create the repository interfaces. So tomorrow I'm going to show you the entities which I have created and the repositories which I have created. Then you can compare your entities with my entities. Is there any gap where you are doing wrong that you can analyze and you can improve? So now also if you copy from me, then there is no benefit that you are going to get. Okay, guys. So if you copy from me, then you will not get any benefit of this project training. So 10 tables are available for our project. I have analyzed, I have given the tables, I have given the columns also what we need for that. You create the entities, repositories, and keep them ready before coming to tomorrow's session. So if you spend 2 hours of time, then you can set up the entities required for our project. You no need to create any microservice today. You just create one dummy project. In that dummy project, you create the entities, 10 entities for the 10 tables. Table structure is already available. By following these table structures, create the entities and keep them ready. So once the table is ready, Tomorrow we are going to follow this process for our admin API. We are going to work on admin API development first. Okay. Clear, guys? Good. So please start creating entity classes and repository interfaces for all the tables, not only for admin module tables. I want you to do it for all the tables. So at a time, we'll complete entities for all the tables and we'll keep them ready. So when we are developing the microservice, which table is required, that entity we are going to use. So today's task for you people, create one Spring Boot is dummy Spring Boot application. Create one Spring Boot application. Create one Spring Boot application. Create entities and repositories. That's it. You don't need to do anything else. You just need to create entity classes, repositories, run the application and check. Run the application and check tables creation in database. Create a project, a simple Spring Boot application. Create Spring Boot application with the data JPA. Okay. Configure data source properties. MySQL database we are going to use. Configure database properties in YML file. Create entities and repositories. Run the application and check tables creation in the database. All the tables are creating as expected or not in the database. We need to verify. So once the tables are created successfully, then we will start components analysis, components creation, and our API development in the tomorrow session. Okay, guys. So this is completely coding part for the next 1 week of time. So you are asking me to develop this project. I will develop one API in one class. So here it's coding. There is nothing to explain much here. So I will be doing the coding and you will be looking at that. So there is no benefit you are going to get from this. But as you people are asking me to develop the project, I'm going to develop. So all the APIs I'm going to develop in the class. If you take my code, there is no use of for you. If you do it on your own, then only you will learn something from this class, from these classes, what we are going to have for next 10 days. When I'm doing the coding, I don't need to explain what is controller, what is REST controller, what is request, what is response. Already we discussed all those things. Basically, major project is something that you need to develop in our course. But you guys are asking me to develop, so I will develop these APIs for you. You need to listen, you need to watch how I am writing the code. That's it. There is no extra benefit that you are going to get. If you want to get the real benefit of this, you need to do the coding after the class is complete. What I am developing in the class, same thing you need to develop on your own after the class is completed. Then you will get that maturity to do the coding. Got it? Good. So for next 1 week, so I think every day we are going to develop one API. Every day we are going to develop one API. So I think only admin API may take much time because a lot of functionality is available. Admin API may take 2 days of time, but all the remaining APIs can be completed only in 1 day. Got my point? Now also, if you don't do this coding on your own, then I can't change your fate. I can't help you. If you do this code on your own, then you will have that confidence to explain in the interview what you have done in the project. Good. I will upload this document in the portal, guys. So please work on the tables creation before coming to tomorrow's session. So I'm telling you 2 hours of time it will take for you to create all the entities. 2 to 3 hours it may take. 2 to 3 hours it may take to create all the tables and repositories required for our project. I want you to set up all the entities for 10 tables along with the relationships. Tomorrow I will show you the entities which I have created for this. Got it? Fine. Good. Anybody having any questions on this? Anybody having any questions on this?
Sir, I have. Go on.
Please
Good
go
morning,
ahead.
sir.
Yeah,
Good
hi,
morning,
good
sir.
morning. Good morning.
Sir, in real time, the role management is how it is done.
Role, you can suppose if you are having multiple roles in the application, you can maintain a separate table, or in the same table you can maintain a column. So what is the role ID you want to give? We need to give the definition for the role. One means admin, two means caseworker, or one means caseworker, or two means admin. Like that, you need to give the definition for that. Based on that, we will insert the value in the column. Based on that, we will identify that user belongs to which role.
Okay, so from the client side, when the user just log into the system, then it is using the same API to log in, right? So how it will recognize that this user
whenever
is...
user login into the application, we are going to fetch the user data. When we fetch the user data, user role data also we are going to fetch to understand that the user is having which role. Based on that role, we are going to decide what functionality we need to enable for that user.
And sir, some role-related information also has to be provided to the client so that
that
it
is
will...
what, sir. When you log in into the application, complete user information will come to the UI. Okay, user information means user logged in successfully. So what role is there? That information will go to the client application in the JSON format. So based on the data which received in the response, then our application will decide what functionality it has to use for that.
Okay.
You got my point?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Any other question, anyone?
So please show us how to provide security in our application, how to lock our endpoints so that no one can directly see. Suppose that if I have a dashboard URL, if I know the URL, I can't go directly to the dashboard.
Sure. So we don't want allow anybody to access our endpoint URLs directly. Whenever we are adding the security, right? We can use the string security concept here.
So I don't know how to do it. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, sure. I will add that. For admin API only, I will add it.
Okay, sir.
Guys, done?
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, hi. Good morning.
Yes, sir. Sir, for the SSO, sir, the third-party API, how we send the request in JSON format or how we send the request, sir?
Sir, third-party API will give the documentation here. We are sending just SSN number in the request as a path parameter. We will get the state name as a response.
Yes, sir.
I will show you in the AR module. I will develop that and I will show you that.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, guys, please work on the tables creation part before coming to tomorrow's session.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, hi.
Good morning, sir.
Very good morning.
Sir, in the circuit breaker, whenever circuit breaker application communicate with the GitHub link, then how can that application can analyze which branch is according to the properties, sir? There is multiple branches there now.
Circuit breaker or config server?
Yes, config server.
Yeah. So from which branch? By default, it will take from the default branch.
Yes, if for suppose there is a feature in the feature branch properties are available, then sir.
You need to specify the branch name for that. Whenever you are giving that URL, right, we can specify from which branch it has to take it. If you don't specify the branch name, it will take it from the default branch.
How can we specify that, sir?
So in the URL, you can give that. In the URL, you can give that. I will show you that. I will give you the link for this.
Okay, sir.
Hello.
Yeah, hi, sir.
Sir, in company, will same process you writing the code?
Yes, sir. We will follow the same process in the company.
Okay, sir. Real-time project, same process writing.
Correct.
Okay, sir.
Sir, are you going to include Kafka in this project?
Yes, sir. We can do it.
Okay. And sir, security, you told that you are going to use security in admin model. So are you going to use API gateway, right?
API gateway, sir. The problem is if you want to integrate service discovery, API gateway and all, it will take a lot of time. First, we'll complete the development. Then we will show you how to add all those parts. Because in the microservices, we have already discussed how to create service registry, how to use API gateway and all. So if I want to use it for every API, if I want to do start the project, I need to start 4 or 5 applications in the local. So it is a time-taking process. Okay. So first we will do the core business logic development, then we will integrate that.
Okay, okay, sir. Sir, actually, we don't know how to include the security in FA gateway. So if you,
Yeah, sure. I will help you with that.
okay, okay, sir.
Fine, guys. Good. Thank you. With this, I'm stopping for today. Guys, I will set up the entities and I will keep it ready for tomorrow's session. Please, you also try that. Thank you, guys.